Cheap shot. Our next speaker is Michelle Boulter. She is a candidate in District number 15. Michelle has been active in numerous pro-family organizations over the years, co-founded two pro-family organizations in 2015. She firmly believes that no government program or program should put themselves between a parent and a child. She lives in St. George along with her husband and is a proud parent of three boys. God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle Boulter.
Thank you for having me. As I thought about this speech, I decided to think about what is the purpose of education. And I've thought a lot about this. And in the state of Utah, we're now at a crossroads. Before us, we have two choices. Continue in the direction that we're going, or determine how to make a better education for our children so that they can have true autonomy. It is important to remember that parents have given schools a great trust with their children for most of their formative years. The lessons taught them will largely determine how they think and act throughout their lives. This is why we do a great disservice to our children when we implement programs and mandates that weaken the families we serve. The family is the fundamental unit of society, and the state school board should always keep that foremost in their minds as they work to create the future of education in Utah. School board members must represent the families of Utah, not the Utah State Office of Education. The state school board members should always reassert the primary rights of parents in education of their children. There is a growing tendency to shift this educational responsibility from the home to outside influences. We need state school board members with organization skills that will develop a better working relationships between schools and their families. Schools in Utah should not be in a power struggle between parents and the state board. We need parents who are courageous enough to lead out in the education of their children. We cannot forget the most basic principle, which is that parents are the primary educators of their children, and the state school board is there to serve us. We need schools that are wise enough to recognize this basic principle, and we need a state school board willing to stand and protect that principle. The key to the future of education comes from the lessons of the past. There's a beautiful heritage found here in Utah. It is important that we teach our children character traits of the past so that they can add to them in the future. This is the shaping of ideals and beliefs. Let me be clear when I speak about character. I'm not talking about the character curriculum that is currently taught in our Utah schools. Although the character curriculum may, in many schools, are using cute and have fun songs for the children to learn, they fail to include what our ancestors knew was vital for their own character development. Our ancestors taught their children that character through the trials and experiences within a family and close-knit communities was important. One such example is that of Andreas Olsen, who built the roof of one of the most beautiful buildings here in America. He was a Norwegian shipbuilder and had learned how to build sailboats. He had no experience building roofs, but he took the same principles that he used to build a ship and incorporated them for building a roof. He reasoned that a well-built ship was solid and waterproof, so he used that fundamental skill of his trade and drew up plans to build a ship. And then he turned those plans upside down and used those plans to build the roof of the Manti Temple. This is a great example of the character of perseverance. This is what we need to be teaching our children, seeing a problem and using innovation to solve it. This creative innovation has always shaped our land long before our ancestors came to this valley. In southern Utah, there's the Anasazi Cliff Dwellers, and they use large stone structures to build their community. We can learn a lot from these stone structures. Each stone had its own shape and characteristic that played an important role in building the community. Man-made bricks that all look and act alike and are interchangeable may be functional but lack the beauty and uniqueness that endure the test of time. We should follow the example of the Anasazi as we teach our children. Instead of making every child common, we need to develop an educational system that encourages the uniqueness of each of our children, instead of focusing on the common traits that are so temporary. Utah families deserve school board members that recognize that parents know best, but not just parents, but grandparents and great-grandparents and on and on. Let's use the lessons of the past to influence the world. We don't need to train our children to compete in a global economy. We need to prepare Utah children to lead in a global community. And the only way to do this is to leave the global ideas of education behind and turn to the lessons of the past. Utah was innovative in bringing people from around the world in the mid-1800s, utilizing their strengths, talents, and skills, and used the strengths of each individual to build a beautiful society. They did not compete, but rather worked together to build a thriving economy here in Utah. It is now our time to show the world how to do this. Let us follow the pattern our forefathers have set before us. Let us work with the character, innovation, and our individual uniqueness to encourage Utah students to become a great influence in the world around us. Turning the hearts of the children to the fathers and the hearts of the fathers to the children, linking the lessons of the past to build the future. That is the purpose of education. Thank you.